evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to JDP TV episode 5. 5 now. Holy moly, that's awesome. On the show today we have David Lumley. He's an awesome developer and full stack developer. Actually, you were the dude that basically introduced me to the term full stack developers.
and tea drinkers as well.
And tea drinkers in skinny jeans.
I don't know, I call myself a software engineer now because it's sort of like there's so many different terms, but at the time full stack development wasn't, it's sort of I do everything. I don't just do like, I'm not just a JavaScript guy, I'm not just a PHP dude. I do everything and I do most of that pretty well.
Yeah. He does, he's not just...
Well, I'm alright at it, but yeah, it's suddenly taken off.
That's awesome because I was speaking today with a company and it's interesting because, you know, all of us, every one of us gets stuck in our own little bubbles every now and then. And look, I don't really think he comes from a dev background, probably more design, or she. And I sort of mentioned the fact that, oh, so you're looking for a full stack developer? And I was a bit of silence on the phone and I was like going, ha. And then I thought of you, I was like, yeah, that's where I very first heard of it. That cool. All right, so you're working on an interesting little project at the moment, as all good devs tend to do, and that is collections.io.
Yeah, that's correct. So
check it out.
Yeah,
it'll be along the bottom here. Spence will put it in.
So basically, at the other company I work at, Client Heartbeat, shout out to Ross, who was here a few weeks ago. Basically, we're using this CRM to manage our contacts. So basically when people went on the page and they signed up, or they contacted us, or Ross found someone that he thought could be interested, they'd go into the CRM, and through the sales cycle we'd track them through there, and it was just really clunky and really hard to use, and we didn't have all the data we wanted. And so we had to look through a few other ones, and then I sort of said, well, I'll just build one, because that's sort of what we do. And so Saxon Fletcher, who's a designer, and I sat down one weekend and we sort of were like, cool, let's do this. And we were supposed to spend a whole day doing it. We ended up spending a few hours doing it. And so we had like this really basic version done. And the idea is that it's a really simple way of managing your customers, especially if you've got a web application. It's the perfect way to do it. So if you have someone that's on your site somewhere, it's super simple. There's no real thought into how or into where you need to be, because it's so simple. You've just got your contacts, and so your collection is like at Just Digital People, for example, or at just people.
This has got my attention now.
Yeah, you might have like a whole heap of different collections, and so you might have a collection for like the businesses that you work with in specific industries. And then you might have another collection for candidates that are in a specific industry. So you might have like a collection for full stack developers or something like that. And so the idea is that you have collections of people, and that's it. That's as complicated as it gets. And so you've got,
it just filters them.
That's it. So you have like all these different collections, and then you click on the top one, and so you want to find full stack developers, and you end up with me and a few other people, and then you've got like, if you want to say, okay, cool, I want to start adding properties to people, so I want to say like Dave lives in Chermside, up on the north side, so if he was looking for a new job,
you can basically match them up location based.
And so if you want to create a new property, it's as simple as typing like suburb and then Chermside, and that's it. You don't have to go add a new property and then do all the stuff that you might in like Salesforce or somewhere else. Gotcha.
Now for you guys, for Client Heartbeat, with sort of, you know, it's a client monitoring system to see where people's satisfaction levels are, etc. And it's heavily for the IT managed service industry,
Yeah, I mean, we've been branching out into other verticals, but that's where we really started, because it's sort of what we had the most experience with.
Okay, cool. Now, with collections.io, what aspects of data, like what were a few of the key aspects of the data that was missing that you guys were like, oh man, we nearly make something better, that sort of can make our job easier?
So basically what we're using the old CRM for is tracking our users through the sales process or the activation process. So it's like you get someone who might download one of our papers on client satisfaction and how to retain customers.
Okay. Yeah.
So Ross publishes a whole heap of papers and tries to get people to download them.
Papers is in blogs.
Like PDFs.
Okay,
so
PDFs.
Like
PDFs.
a little book or something like that. And then you've got the blog as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can subscribe to the blog. And Ross has all these emails, and so when someone from the blog
Just all
signs
this
up,
stuff, like
we
all
can
this
see.
inquiry. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can see, like, if someone signs up and their email was in the blog list, we can see, okay, cool, well, the blog's working really well for us. And that sort of stuff is really important from a marketing standpoint.
Right. Okay.
Being able to figure where people come from, so
Right.
you can say, cool, spend money on this, don't spend money on that.
Right. Okay. Especially for a startup, that is critical. Okay,
Yeah, when you don't have a lot of money.
So that's really what that's done for you then.
Yeah, so we can
Okay.
basically track or see where our users are through the funnel, from sign up to when they pay, a lot easier. And so that was one of the main things that Collections tries to solve, just making it so simple.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Because there's a whole heap of different CRMs that you can use as a business.
Yeah. Man,
Most-
millions.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah, and there's a few ones that claim to be really simple, and then you look at it and sort of like, no, it's not. You've still got like 10 different screens, and at the end of the day,
Sorry to cut in. Do you think that if the reason that you've got Collections is awesome is obviously for your business as well, and probably a lot of other businesses. I mean, I'll certainly have a look at it for what I do, really, like personally. But do you think that the reason it's awesome in terms of its simple small business CRM, you've seen Google, that's cool, is because it's really tailored to you guys, and there's not like a million different plugins you can put into around it to sort of build it out?
Yeah.
Or is that cool as well? You'll get to that, or just right now, the fact exactly of what it does is just, it's not tricky in terms of you can choose all these different areas to go through to. It's just very simple in terms of like the one screen, and it's very simple where you funnel things through to and that sort of thing, or?
Yeah, I think that there's certainly like a lot of features you could add, but one of the things that you do as a startup, and so because I work at a startup during the day and sort of have this on the night, is that you really try and focus on what your core product is. And so for us, like a CRM isn't about sending emails, it's not about being able to tap into social media, it's about managing a customer's experience.
Right.
And so those stuff, like, it will eventually be involved in it, but there'll probably be like separate apps that are integrated.
Right, exactly.
And so they'll be built separately just for that, and then you can integrate them together, and it's all wonderful. But it means that the experience of like Collections, for example, is completely and totally focused on managing your customers' experience as they walk through your web application or they walk through your sales process. That's
awesome, man. Collections.io, check it out. That's sort of what the home screen looks like. Yeah, David and Saxon, awesome work. So the next little area that we wanted to chat on, we've sort of touched on it a little bit really, is client heartbeat, and obviously we had Ross on a previous episode, but obviously you're a full stack, you're a dev there, and I just wanted to have obviously a bit of a chat, let the guys know how it's going in terms of from a dev's perspective.
Yeah, so I think from our core product, like I was saying before, it's really important to focus on the core product.
Exactly, yeah.
And so we have been at a stage for the past few months where the core product's been there, and we've got market validation, which means like people are paying for it, which is great. Definitely, if you're looking for more information about your customers, check out Client Heartbeat.
Shameless plug, and that's awesome. That's what we're here for.
But yeah, so people love it, and then we're getting a lot of because we use it for ourselves, and so we survey our own customers on their satisfaction, and they love it.
Yeah.
And because the core product is there, there's sort of a little bit of I don't know, movement towards maybe we should add more features. Maybe we should like SurveyMonkey does this stuff.
Of like...
Yeah, and so it's really hard to restrict ourselves and just say no. What we're going to do is really improve the existing features we have. So we have a lot of integration with other CRMs, and instead of I don't know, adding other features, what we've been improving is our integrations with the CRM. So we've been adding new vendors. We recently added MyOb and QuickBooks.
Okay.
And I'm in the process of working with Infusionsoft.
Okay.
And going through there and basically improving what we get back. So it started off where we would just get contact data, and so you could import it into Client Heartbeat. But now we're sort of working towards how can we make it easier for the user. So for example, we have integration with Xero. We've just added the ability, so instead of just importing everyone that you work with in Xero, we will import the people that you've recently invoiced.
There we go.
So it's that sort of stuff like
contacts,
yeah.
hotlines, yeah.
Rather than just adding new stuff, it's been really important for us to concentrate on making existing stuff better.
Yeah, right.
And especially if that's stuff that our users are using and they're paying for at the moment, making it better makes them love us even more.
Developing that hot point. Awesome. So you guys originally had sort of what funding, or your major investor owner, what's his name?
Gordon.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gordon. Cheers, mate. Never met you before, but I hear lots of good things about you.
He's a really nice dude.
He was going to sort of the end of the year with funding, but you guys had like a massive, awesome bumper month just last month, and apart from a couple of other different things, you've been awesome, Ross been awesome, Saxon, BDMs. You guys are going to look at.
So I think when like at the start of the year we were sort of saying, okay, we'll go to December and we'll see how everything's going. But everything's been moving really well. I mean, month over month we've been getting more people signing up, and everyone that has signed up has loved it.
Yeah, no,
brilliant.
What a repeat custom.
Yeah, that's it. And so yeah, it's going to be really cool to see where next year takes us.
Exciting, man.
Yeah, so Gordon initially, like, it's not your typical startup where you are eating noodles and that sort of thing, because
sipping on fine tea. And
yeah, I mean it's still pretty tense, and we're obviously heavily invested in it. But Gordon basically created it because he had his other company, which is a managed service provider. He wanted to know how his customers are doing, and so I think that's, from my point of view, that's what really sold me on Client Heartbeat, is that it's created from a real need. It's not just a bunch of dudes who think it would be cool to do something. To make money. Make another social network that's like Twitter but crossed with Facebook and not.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
sure. There's anything wrong with that. But it's cool to see a real problem.
It's just different. No, it's awesome. I wanted to chat to you. Obviously, we spoke briefly on your way in this evening to the studios about. Obviously, I wanted to get a dev's perspective on the Brisbane startup scene.